This is going to be a very, very quick video on advanced tuck planche because it is a very, very simple progression, but people often complicate it very, very widely, or they make it way more complicated than it needs to be. There is already a tuck video that's out on my channel. If you want to see that, see the requirements that you need to reach within tuck planche in order to progress on to advanced tuck, then that video will kind of cover it. I'll kind of explain through that anyways. But before you actually move on to advanced tuck, you want to have a solid base in tuck planche of at least like 8 seconds before you start trying the advanced tuck, right? Just to make it nice and easy for yourself going into the next stage or next progression. Now, let's get on to what a lot of people struggle with, because a lot of people have a good base in tuck planche, but they can't move on to the advanced tuck. They don't understand how the advanced tuck should look, how it should feel. And when they do it, a lot of the time it will look something like this. You enter into the tuck, and then you try and go into the advance, and then you lift up, right? I can do full planche. That's uncomfortable for me, right? Stop trying that. You're not going to be able to hold that position. It's a very, very weird and difficult position. The advanced tuck, the difference between the advanced tuck is within the hips, right? So, or within the core and the hips, right? So the tuck planche, it's engaged, you're crunching in, you're rounding yourself. You can see I'm kind of squeezing in the legs to my chest, right? So there's some core tension there. All we're doing in advanced tuck is we're pretty much releasing that core tension and almost thrusting down with our hips slightly, right? So we're not going higher, we're going lower with the advanced tuck. That's the key distinction you need to make. We're going lower with the advanced tuck while still keeping our protraction so we can stay nice and high. If we lose our protraction, that's when you start to see people go like that. And that's the problem that people get into, because they don't have good enough protraction for the advanced tuck. So what ends up happening is they try and lift up their butts to try and get off the floor. If you're not able to get your knees off the floor, then have a look at your arm length and your protraction, see if you can increase that. How do we increase protraction? I've explained this in the tuck planche video, but essentially you want to work on bands. You want to work on bands around your legs. You're going to depress, push up, depress, push up, and then you're going to work on increasing the band, the amount of weight that you're using for the bands, and then you're going to work on height, right? So you're going to have yourself on a elevated surface, work on the bands, increase the bands again, right? So you're always progressing, you're always increasing the amount of bands, so it just doesn't get boring, it doesn't get repetitive, and you actually have goals and kind of stages that you can achieve with your planche. Anyways, to kind of help you enter into this or help you familiarize yourself with this exercise, you want to start with low bands, not super heavy bands, because they're just way too different from the actual planche movement that you're holding, but light bands, right? Just so that you can help loosen some of the weight, because you are still, even though it's not as engaged as the tuck planche with your core, right, there's less engagement there. You're kind of thrusting the hips in, and you're just loosening everything in terms of the lower body. You're still leaning further, so it still takes more kind of effort on the shoulders and on the arms. So you still want to kind of help yourself learn that by using using bands around yourself, going into the position, looking forwards, leaning forwards, and just filming yourself, seeing if it's correct, and then correcting the little part that's not correct, whether it's the kind of arms not protracting, right? Okay, then I need to work on more protraction drills. I need to increase my protraction strength. And if the hips aren't engaging, then I need to do some work, and that could just be in the form of crunching in, as in tuck, and then loosening without actually being in the planche, right? Getting that feeling, getting that distinction. Anyways, guys, that is it for the advanced tuck planche. Hopefully it was simple enough for you guys to understand. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comment section. And if you want any help with your planche journey or progressing through planche, like it's kind of more like a game, making it more enjoyable for yourself, seeing steady progress, then there's going to be a link in my description for coaching. Check that out if you want some additional help. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe and see you next time.